Hi everybody, I'm the fabulously furry Frock Hudson and welcome to Rainbow Storytime as part of Out in the Open thanks to Goulburn Valley Libraries. I am so excited this year to be back with you again on your screens telling you wonderful, fantastic stories for you to share and enjoy this morning. It's going to be so much fun. You know what I love about stories? I love that they can take you anywhere you want to go. 1 minute, when you open a book, you could be sitting at home and suddenly you're underwater. Or you could be in outer space. Or you could be the king and queen of a land. You can be anywhere you want to be. And that's part of the fun of stories. And I have some wonderful ones to read for you today. Are you all settled in? Are you all ready for story time? I hope so. I hope your parents are sitting wherever they're going to be. Let them relax. Come and sit in front of the screen with me and let's have a lovely time. Shall we start with our first story? Oh, here it is. Our first story is Love Makes a Family. Love is waking up bright and early. Oh, I don't know if these parents were woken up or if maybe things were a little too loud, louder than their alarm clocks. Love is baking a special cake. Ooh, yum. I love cake. Chocolate's my favourite kind. What's yours? Love is knowing where everything is. You know what? This child is just like me. I'm always losing things in my house. Thank God that there is someone to help them find what they need. Love is finding the biggest puddles. Splash, splash. Love is lending a helping hand. Well, no one wants their teddies falling into the fish bowls, do they? Let's try to keep teddies on the ground instead of in the water. Love is watching from the front row. I love when people get to watch me in the front row and look at how much fun they're having playing around at home. We've been doing a lot of that over the past year, haven't we? Having lots of fun with our parents. Love is playing on the weekend. Look at them having tea together. Maybe I'll have a cup of tea after this. Love is making things better. And isn't everything better with a little bit of ice cream? It's probably too early for ice cream now, but maybe you can have some later. Look at this family having a wonderful time, feeling better thanks to ice cream and all being together. I especially like the little monkey one. Love is washing away the day. We all have to get cleaned up sometime. I'm going to have a lot of time in the bath later on today after this, but look at that, all having a washing up time. Glub, glub, glub. Love is reading one more book. Oh, look at them all. They're sitting there together, having a read of that one story together as a family. But you know what? Even though we've got more books to do, we're not finished with this story because love is chasing away the monsters. My parents do that for me all the time. Sometimes they're under my bed, sometimes they're in the closet, or sometimes they're chasing me around the table. And finally, love is a kiss before bed. Aww. Mwah. I love a kiss before bed. Oh, wasn't that really lovely? It's right, love does make a family, and it's great to read a book like that with lots of different families who are lots of different shapes, sizes, colours, but we're all the same at the end of the day. Would you like to meet my family? So everybody, this is some of my family. These are my nieces. This is Chloe. And this is Layla. Do you want to say hello? Hi, give a wave. Hi. They're part of my family. Why don't you let us know who's part of your family? Who's part of yours?
Patrick.
Patrick. And who's part of yours? Emilio, exactly right. There's lots of families. But now let's do another book. Shall we read another book? Yeah? Yeah. But now it's time for another story. And this one is one of my favourites. It's called Dogs Don't Do Ballet. And how cute is this little dog here in their tutu, looking absolutely fabulous. Do you have a tutu? I have one. Maybe I'll wear it next year for Rainbow Story Time. My dog is not like other dogs. He doesn't do dog stuff like weeing on lampposts or scratching his fleas or drinking out of the toilet. Ooh, yuck. If I throw him a stick, he looks at me like I'm crazy. So I have to fetch it myself. No, my dog likes music and moonlight and walking on his tippy toes. You see, my dog doesn't think he's a dog. My dog thinks he's a ballerina. I think he's a ballerina too. What about you? When I get ready for ballet class, he looks longingly at my tutu and ballet shoes, and I just know he's dreaming of his name up in lights. Look at him looking at that tutu. I love a tutu. Dad, I say, can Biff come too? He loves ballet. Not a chance, says Dad. Dogs don't do ballet. Then, one Saturday on my way to class, I got a funny feeling that I'm being watched, a funny feeling that I'm being followed. Can you see where Biff is? When Miss Polly is teaching us a new routine, I think I see something peeking in the window. Something with a wet nose. Something with a tail. Can you see where that wet nose is? Right, girls, says Miss Polly. Who's going to demonstrate first position? But before anyone can step forward, there's a loud bark from the back of the hall, and something furry rushes to the front. Why, what is this? Says Miss Polly, peering over the front of her glasses. This, I say, is my dog. Well, take it away at once, says Miss Polly, wrinkling up her nose. Wrinkle, wrinkle. Dogs don't do ballet. My poor dog stops wagging his tail and his ears droop down at the ends. I take my dog home and give him a bowl of doggy donuts. But he won't touch them. He just stays in his kennel for days and days, and at night he howls at the moon. Oh, 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 oh. Poor Biff. For my birthday, I get tickets for the Royal Ballet. Oh, Dad, can Biff come too, I ask? Biff loves the ballet. Biff pricks up his ears and wags his tail. No, says Dad. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Dogs don't do ballet. And as we wait for the bus, I think about poor Biff, my old dog, all on his own, howling at the moon. But then I get a funny feeling. Can you see where Biff is? I get a funny feeling that I'm being watched. A funny feeling that I'm not alone. And then the ballet starts. Ooh, it's magical. The orchestra plays as the prima ballerina dances and prances and twirls and whirls and skips and oh no, she trips. Disaster, calamity. It's all over, I think. But somebody doesn't think it's over. Look at the ballerina stuck in the tuba. But can you see something else in the corner of the stage? Somebody thinks that this is just the beginning. Someone with big black eyes, somebody with pointy ears, and somebody wearing my tutu. The audience gasps. It's a dog, someone shouts. Dogs don't do ballet. Biff turns bright red and looks at his feet. That's what I've always said, Dad mutters. But then the orchestra starts to play, and Biff dances like no dog has ever danced before. Plie, jeté, arabesque, pirouette. He's as light as a sugar puff, as pretty as a fairy. The audience can't believe it. Hooray, I shout. That's my dog. How good is Biff at ballet? Much better than me. When the music stops, my dog gives a hopeful curtsy and blinks nervously into the spotlight. The theatre is very quiet, so quiet that you could hear a bubble pop. Then, a lady in the front row stands up. It's a dog, she shouts. Oh, and Biff's ears start to droop again. A dog that does ballet, she adds. Oh, bravo, bravo. Suddenly, the whole audience cheers and throws bunches of roses. My dog glows with happiness. Well, I don't believe it, Dad says, shaking his head. Biff is a ballerina after all. See, I said proudly, ruffling Biff's ears. Dogs do ballet. Bravo, Biff. Bravo. Oh, doesn't Biff look fantastic in their tutu? Oh, you know, I said I do love wearing one. If you've got a tutu, after we're done, why don't you put that on around the house and you can show everyone how good you are at ballet. And it's okay if you're not the best, as long as you give it a go. Oh, I wish I was good at ballet. Ooh, I like this one. It's time for us to read The Different Dragon. Ooh, I love reading about dragons. Noah was a not-so-little boy who was getting ready for bed. He'd taken a bath, he'd chosen a favourite pair of pyjamas and put them on all by himself. He'd brushed his teeth and only needed a little bit of help from one of his mothers while flossing. Do you floss your teeth? You should make sure you floss and brush your teeth however your parents tell you to, for as long as they tell you to, every day. After brushing his teeth, he built and toppled some block towers with his younger sister Claire, all over her bedroom floor. Then he chased the cat Zoe out of the hall closet and lined up all his toy trucks by the stairs, wrestled with his mama and Claire in his parents' room, and then finally crashed the neat row of trucks into a messy pile. It was a very loud crash. I think you're ready for bed, said Gomar. You know what? I think you're right, said Noah, with a big cheeky grin. And when he was snuggled into his cosy big boy bed, all in his own room, he said to Gomar, let's tell a story. Okay, said Gomar. Who should we be in it? Well, me, said Noah. Will anybody else from the family be in it? Gomar asked. Noah was a boy who had two mothers, Mama and Gomar, a younger sister named Claire, two cats named Zoe and Diva, a gerbil named Rex, and some fish named Jonah, Scoopy, and Tiny, all in his family. Have you got a big family like that? Nope, 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 Noah said, just me in the story, and then added, maybe Diva. All right, said Gomar, and where should you be? Thought Noah. How about on a boat? Okay, said Gomar. And now he's gone from his bed all the way to a boat in the ocean. I love stories. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Noah who went sailing on the ocean in his royal blue and snappy orange boat. Is the boat on the ocean a liner or a sailboat? Asked Noah. It's a long, steady sailboat with silver sails and colourful flags brought back from adventures in faraway places. But is there a moon? Said Noah. Why, yes, said Gomar. He sailed along under a moonlit sky that was full of stars. Even though the boy was good at counting, there were so many stars in this night sky that he couldn't possibly count them all. The boat was sturdy and the water was dark and cool. Is there music? Wondered Noah. Indeed, Noah's favourite cat Diva always sailed on the royal blue and snappy orange boat with him. On this night, she sang a fancy feline tune, opera style. Shall I sing this in my best voice with a bit of Diva? Why not? I love a grand feast of big fishes from the sea. I love a wicked prowl chasing mites and lots of fowl. But what I love most is to nap, nap, nap. Nap away in the sun. I love a nap too. Noah and Diva had discovered that magical things happen to them when they sail the high seas under a moonlit sky, and tonight felt especially magical. As they stood on the deck of the boat, looking out into the night, Noah tasted the air with his tongue. He rolled the air around in his mouth and thought it tasted like... What do you think it tasted like? Noah thought it tasted like peanuts. That's right, peanuts, said Noah. Peanuts, Gomar agreed and went on. Peanuts and lemons. And the magical tasting air made Noah hungry for snacks. He said to Diva, let's sail to Dragon Cove and get some chocolate yogurt for me and some goldfish for you. Diva thought this was an excellent idea, so Noah turned the boat in the direction of Dragon Core. I wonder what's at Dragon Core. Could it be a dragon? What do you think? I can see them there. On the great lawn beside the cove, they discovered that a firefly and cricket convention was underway. The sky was full of blinking luminescence and orchestral music floated across the sky. The music was grand and sounded... Excuse me, Gomar. Excuse me. Is there going to be a mean dragon? Noah asked. A mean dragon? With fire in his nostrils and a long, spitly red tongue and lots of chomping teeth? You know, that kind? Noah nodded his head in a very serious voice. Well, said Gomar. As Noah slipped the boat into the main dock in Dragon Core, he felt a strangely warm gust of air brush the back of his neck. Diva meowed and then quickly skittled down below deck. Noah knew just what he would see when he turned around. The meanest dragon in all of Dragon Country was lumbering down the hill, fire darting from every nostril and hot breath pouring from his teeth-filled mouth. The musical melodies abruptly ceased, and the crickets and fireflies scattered hither and yon. Noah stood on the deck of his boat and decided it was time to put on protective gear. I think that's a very good idea, Noah. A shield and goggles, Noah said. Right you are, said Gomar. Noah went below deck. First, he reassured Diva, who was hiding behind a pile of life jackets. It's all going to be safe again soon. Then he donned his protective gear when he went back up on deck, and Noah saw the dragon was beginning to cry. Cry, said Noah quietly and certainly. Cry? Asked Gomar. Yes, Noah said. He's very upset. But why is he upset? Gomar said. You tell, said Noah. Gomar thought for a minute and then continued. The dragon cried and cried. His sobs were so loud that they shook the trees and the ground and the hills and the very deck of Noah's sailboat. And the dragon's tears were as big as tennis balls, said Noah. Tennis balls, which splashed on the ground and began to make puddles all around the dragon. Noah, who had been prepared to protect himself from the dragon's fire, lowered his shield and pushed his goggles onto the top of his head. Then he spoke to the dragon. What's the matter? He asked. I just can't do it, the dragon wailed. His big nostrils were no longer darting fire. Instead, he had a runny nose. And truthfully, he could have used a very big handkerchief. At that moment, it was no use. Look at all of those tears. It's filling up enough water for Noah to sail on. What's no use? Asked Noah, moving up to the bow of the boat so he could get closer to the dragon, who was now standing on the dock. I just can't be fierce anymore, the dragon said. I just can't. Why not? Asked Noah. I just can't be fierce anymore, the dragon said. I just can't. Why not? Asked Noah. Well, it's a lot of pressure to be fierce all the time. All that roaring and gnashing of teeth and snorting of fire. It's a lot of work to scare people and be so very mean. And nobody ever wants a dragon to be funny or sad or just regular. There's only one way for a dragon to be, and that's that. The dragon lay down, resting his head on his front legs, just the way Diva did when she was napping in the sun sometimes. Noah put his shield down on the deck and spoke to the dragon kindly, but firmly. I am a smart boy, and I know some things. I know that there are lots of different ways to be a dragon. And being fierce isn't the only way you have to be. Noah's very smart. Noah tells the dragon that you can be however you want to be. If you want to crush my sailboat and set it on fire and then eat me up, well, you can. Or we could play badminton, or perhaps have some ice cream instead. Noah did indeed sound very wise. The dragon listened carefully and thought about what Noah was saying. And then Noah added, and I have a lot of friends who feel the same way that I do. And they'd like a dragon who's different. With that, the dragon lifted his big head. He looked extremely relieved, even happy, and he dragged the scaly back of his claw across his runny nose. Can you teach me how to play badminton? He said. Noah said, sure. Let me get the equipment. So the very smart, not so little boy went below the deck and retrieved 2 badminton rackets and a birdie. And under the full moon, he taught the dragon how to play, and they played for a long, long time, until it was time for breakfast. And what did they have for breakfast? Noah yawned at Gomar. Now that, said Gomar, is another story, and tucked Noah into bed. Ooh, I really liked that one. I would love to be a dragon. It'd be so much fun. I'd go rah, ooh, and that, and I could be the fiercest dragon of them all. Why don't you all do a roar at me right now? Let's all roar together. Rah!
Rah, rah, rah. Rah, rah, breathing fire. Roar, rah. Big roar. Rah. Roar. I'm such a good dragon. Oh, rah, rah, rah. I'm a good fierce dragon, aren't I? Oh no, they've got my tail. What am I gonna do?
Maybe I'll dance. Well, I think that's enough dragon time. I think it's time for another story. And this one is My Princess Boy. This is a mum story about a young boy who loves to dress up. My Princess Boy is 4 years old. He likes pretty things. Pink is his favourite colour. He plays dress-ups in girly dresses and he dances like a beautiful ballerina. My Princess Boy has a cool brother. His brother plays baseball and soccer, and his brother dances with My Princess Boy. My Princess Boy loves his brother. My Princess Boy loves his dad. My dad tells My Princess Boy how pretty he looks in a dress. His dad holds his hands and tells him to twirl. My Princess Boy smiles and hugs his dad. My Princess Boy has play dates with boys and girls. He likes to climb trees in his Princess Boy tiara crown. When he plays dress-ups, he likes to change clothes a lot. He wears a green ballet leotard and dances with his friends. I love My Princess Boy. When we go shopping, he is the happiest when looking at girls' clothes. But when he says he wants to buy a pink bag or a sparkly dress, people stare at him. And when he buys busy girl things, people laugh at him. And they laugh at me too. And it hurts us both. Once My Princess Boy wore a dress at his birthday. He welcomed his friends to his home and said, "I am a Princess Boy." He put on jewelry and he liked how pretty he looked. And he waved his Princess Boy wand all around. And then My Princess Boy was a princess for Halloween. He went trick-or-treating with his brother, and one woman laughed at him because he was in a princess dress. My Princess Boy asked, "Why did she laugh at me?" I told him, "Some people don't think that boys should wear dresses." But a Princess Boy can wear a dress at his school, and I will not laugh at him. And a Princess Boy can wear pink, and I'll tell him how pretty he looks, because he does. How pretty is this pink dress? A Princess Boy can play with me in pretty girl clothes, and I'll still play with him. And if you see a Princess Boy, will you laugh at him? Will you call him a name? Will you play with him? Will you like him for who he is? Our Princess Boy is happy because we love him for who he is. My Princess Boy is your Princess Boy. That was a beautiful story. I think that's a lovely one. Remember, you can wear whatever you want and have as much fun as you like. Shall we read another story? Oh, I'm excited about this one. And Tango makes 3. I can't wait to find out about penguins. This one's set in a zoo. There are all kinds of animal families in the zoo, but Tango's family is not like any of the others. Shall we find out why? In the middle of New York City, there's a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride in on the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. What a fun park! Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families from all kinds come to visit all the different animals in the zoo. Do you like the zoo? But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey mums raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarine families too. Do you like the monkeys? Look at all these families. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. But 2 penguins in the penguins' house were a little different. One was named Roy and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other, they walked together, they sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around one another. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsy, noticed the 2 penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like all the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that other couples could do something that they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be baby penguins. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed, no one to cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat and sat and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept, and when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsy got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest, and every day they turned it, so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They sat in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunch times and swim times and even supper. They sat at the beginning of the month and they sat at the end of the month. And they sat all of the days in between. Until one day they heard a sound coming from inside the egg. Beep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back. Squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. Squawk, squawk. Peep, peep. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the eggshell. And then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsci decided, because it takes two to tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks and snuggled together when it was cold at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! Everyone cheered. And at night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together and, like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the other families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. And you know what I love the most about this story? It's a true story. If you're ever at the zoo in New York City, in Central Park, you can go and say hi to Roy, Silo, and Tango. I think we've got time for one more story. Do you reckon? All right, one more story. And this one is my favourite. Let's read My Unicorn Farts Glitter. We're diving right into the bath with this one. My unicorn ruins my bubble bath with stinky, glittery farts. My unicorn steals Mum's lippy and gives me icky, sticky kisses. And then he slurps spaghetti and makes my hair all cheesy. Oh. But when I'm sniffly and sick in bed, my unicorn makes rainbows in my room. What a beautiful rainbow. But I can't stress this enough. Just because someone you know is sick, don't start making a giant rainbow on their bedroom wall. Not unless mummy or daddy or whoever is looking after you lets you know. My unicorn takes over my treehouse and invites in all their teddies to tea. Look, there's no room for me. My unicorn breaks the doggy door with his clumsy unicorn bum, and then he wakes me up at night with jumbo jet plane snores. But when the baby starts to cry, he blows bubbles through their curls. Check out the bubbles. My unicorn pops my party balloons with his silly, sparkly horn. Pop, pop, pop. My unicorn flattens my fairy bread and gets a polka dot bottom. And then he glues my gran to her hat with a giant splat of gum. But when I feel a little lonely, we gallop and we giggle all around the lawn. My unicorn scares the seagulls he's with. Splashy, paddle, doggy. My unicorn sneezes, achoo, all over my sandcastle with his yucky unicorn nose. Oh no, and then he trips. Oh, and he flippers and squishes our fish and chips. Maybe they just shouldn't go to the beach. But when I drop my ice cream cone, he saves his last bite. Oh, my unicorn is a super-sized silly sausage. But despite the stink and the sneezes and the snores, I love him loads. And he loves me more. Now look at that. Was it a unicorn all along? Or was it their brother? I love that story because it reminds us all that we're all unicorns, whether you have a horn or not. And that's it for our Rainbow Story Time today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. There's more virtual entertainment happening as a part of Out in the Open this afternoon. I'll just look a little different, but maybe I'll see you there. And don't forget to tell your parents that next week the children's program reopens at the library. There's limited attendance, so you've got to book if you would like to come. And as per the government guidelines, in order to have entry, you'll need to be double vaxxed or have a medical exemption. But you don't need to worry about that. You just ask your parents or your guardian and they'll be able to help you out with that. And we look forward to seeing you at the library very soon. I hope you've enjoyed story time, and if you've liked any of these books, be sure to ask any of the librarians where you can find out about some more. Because reading is what? Fantastic. Bye!